such sights to show you.
You are all going to die tonight.
This is bad comedy.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Calico Productions proudly brings to you the only podcast in the known universe where a fat old white bloke and a lovely trans girl chat together in perfect harmony. It is, of course, Hunya Geek is showing, and with me, as usual, she's a hostess with the mostess, and she's always having a boast. It is, of course, Cali Valentine. Hello.
Hello, random man guy JB. How are you?
Well, the wine's flowing, so I'm good.
Good, good. I'm on the Pepsi tonight.
Ooh.
Keeping it clean tonight because I'm going to get dirty later.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Wah,
You can take the Pepsi challenge.
wah.
Insert slide whistle.
Cue Benny Hill music.
No, we'll get sued. So yeah, hello folks, we're back again.
Yes,
You
rocking
can
it.
tell it's nearly time for the break.
Yes, we are. After this one, we have 2 more episodes to go, and then it is a 2-month break for us, and we will be back around Halloween time. We're not too sure of the dates just yet. We need to double check with the old calendar system. You know, I'm still on my own, apparently. Yeah.
I think I'm on Gregorian.
Apparently for me, the world ended in 2012.
Well, it did, didn't it?
Kind of. More like a slow, it was more like a slow descent into hell after 2012. You know, it was like we peaked and now we're on the slow descent in.
That'll be it. Yeah. So it's been a bit of a week, hasn't it?
A bit of a weird one, yes.
Presidential assassination attempts, weirdness around the place.
We did forget to mention last week. We did talk about it before we started filming, and then we completely forgot to mention.
Shit, yeah.
But, we did forget to mention the passing of the wonderful, wonderful Shelley Duvall,
Yeah.
who, God bless her, was tortured by Stanley Kubrick, but made one hell of a believable performance in The Shining. And for me, little nostalgia tweak here. I actually remember her more for the Popeye movie because when I was young and didn't know much better, I'm talking like 5 years old, my parents, to keep me entertained, would put on the live action Popeye movie.
But it's shit.
I know it's shit, but I was young and dumb and didn't know better. So, but I remember her from that, and it's kind of become a meme at this point where she goes, "He's large."
Oh my God. Your parents, I know how to shut young Cali up. Let's put shit movies on for her.
To be fair, that was my mum putting me on for me because she thought it was more age appropriate. If it had been my dad, he probably would have put me down in front of Terminator.
Yeah.
Different parental styles. It was the 80s. Well,
indeed it was.
Late 80s going into the 90s. But anyway, we're digressing here.
We are. Shall we push on?
We shall push on and we will move right into my favorite part of the show, the shout outs.
Yay!
But up first is the man, the myth, the beard, the ginger one,
Agent
AK-47.
Headlining no longer.
Pardon?
He's the headliner no longer.
Oh dear, I know. He's been knocked off the top spot.
Sorry, JK.
But it is, of course, the Ginger Ninja JK, and in his comment on our kick-ass episode, hello and thank you as always for the shout out, not forgetting to comment this time.
Yay, good on you.
Now, this may get me excommunicated, but I've never really cared for Harry Potter. We don't give a fuck about that. You can stay. Down with Potter. He's a plotter. I'd rather watch Del Boy Trotter.
Too right.
That's my protest in Harry Potter. Anyway.
There will never be.
There
will never ever be.
We may have to Jesus you for this one though, or the Carry On films.
James fighting words around here, JK.
You've just broken my heart, JK. I don't think I can be in love with you anymore. Sorry.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Oh, but I'm also angry.
Yes, like we said to Tony, little shout out within this one to Tony. Did you not see what he said in his video this week?
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. I can't remember.
Never mind. Moving swiftly on. As for the kick-ass films, they do indeed kick some ass. It's brutal and it's fun. Definitely. The first one I definitely say is definitely more dark humor. The second one leans more towards either slightly juvenile humor, but then sometimes it goes a little bit dark with it as well. So, I mean, they're both good films. The sick stick ending of the second film. Oh yeah, where battle guy, an ass ass kicker, God in a yellow fucking spandex suit gets the guy and he gets his shield and splatters all out. That, do you know what? That and the cafeteria scene are two of my favorite fucking scenes because it's not the visual, it's the sound effects you can hear in the background. You can hear them like going off in the background when there's all this fighting and whatnot going on, and it's just like, that sounds horrid. Like, and that led me in. I was, again, tangent, sorry here, people. I was watching Kick-Ass 2 with my daughter. I talked to her about that bit, and I said, it's one of those brilliant little filmmaking techniques where your mind fills in the blanks. If you can hear something, but you can't see it going on screen, but you can hear it in the background, your mind fills in that blank space. And 9 times out of 10, what you can come up with in here is better than what any director can put on the screen. So whether it's a horror film, comedy film, something like that, if it's just off screen, but you can hear like what's going on, you might have a better joke or moment on your hands. The new Hellraiser did that brilliantly. Right at the beginning, there's a bit where a guy gets chained up, but it goes out of focus, so you can sort of see what's going on, but not all of it. And that kind of raises the tension because it's like, I don't like the look of that. Anyway, moving on, trying to keep this under an hour tonight. I will say one of the reasons these films stand out is due to the complete batshit insane fights as opposed to the Marvel watered down drivel that has been sent our way of late. Yeah, I kind of touched upon that. They're actual fight scenes with actual actors. It's actually choreographed. It's actual people, actual stunts. I'd rather watch that any day over a CG person bouncing up and down on wires. I mean, it's no.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will change with Captain America New World Order, which looks like it could be going back to the action of the Winter Soldier. I have watched the trailer for it and I was like, I'm not completely switched off to the MCU. I do still have a little bit of an interest in it, but it's got to be something that's really going to hook me back in. And along those lines, and another tangent, I am so sorry. Guy, have you watched the trailer for Agatha All Along?
We're gonna what?
Have you watched the trailer for Agatha All Along?
No. I decided against it.
I said when this show was announced, it's a character that doesn't need their own series. And the trailer that I watched kind of reinforces it for me. Don't get me wrong. There looked like there was some good jokes in there and a couple of good scenes in there. But I said the same thing about Secret Invasion. It started off well, it fell off a cliff. I have a feeling that as good as those little moments do look in the trailers, they're going to be like one scene in one episode per.
Yeah. I love the actress that plays her.
Yeah, I cannot.
I've seen her in films and she's been awesome.
Yeah, well, even in WandaVision, the twist and the reveal and everything, that was brilliant. And
yeah, WandaVision was great.
The trail was amazing. But I just don't think it's a character that needs their own story.
No, I totally agree.
The Vision one that was recently announced as well, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
That could
Why
go
do you
either
need that?
way for me. Like I'd wait until it comes out and then I'd pass judgment on it because that for me could go either way. It could be really good or it could be fumbled to all fucking hell. So, like
I
Moon
just don't
Knight
think we need,
season 2, I
we
think
don't need it in the first place.
Hmm?
We just don't need it in the first place.
That's very true. Very true. I mean, Moon Knight season 2, I think, is another one that's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be great or flop.
Yeah.
Either way. But yeah, back to
JK.
yeah. The in-betweeners is not too bad, but definitely not for everyone. I preferred Bad Education. Not watched that one either, I don't think. And the UK version is 100 times better than the US remake. But dot. What's wrong with fart jokes? Don't get me wrong. In the right context, fine. But when it's just one after the other, it's like I am not watching a Nickelodeon show, am I? Wind in the Willows apparently tonight.
Yeah, and you're toe to toe up.
Yeah, but JK finishes up with saying, "Keep kicking ass." Lots of S. I think he turned into a snake for a moment there. But yes, that was JK's comment from last week's episode, and
Thank you, JK.
beating him to the top spot of the week by posting today, the sneaky bastard. I think he does this on purpose. I think he's always trying to get the Jimmy Lee likes to get the last fucking word, and I think he does this on purpose because he knows like an hour or two before we record, he drops a comment. He did the same thing last week. So I'm on to
you, little scamp.
I'm on to your game, mate. But yes, Jimmy Lee goes on to say, kick ass, awesome film, 15 years, load of dots, shocked emoji face. Yeah, again, as we said in the episode, neither of us realized we were like, is it that nearly that old? 15 years? No, it can't be. But yeah, the first one came out in 2010. Shocked the crap out of me because I was like, I thought my daughter was older than she was when that film came out. I honestly do, but clearly not. I remember watching it in cinema for free. I miss Orange Wednesdays. I did, as I did with the second, kind of miss Unlimited Card. Felt the second was slightly better. We kind of said the same thing, that as good as the first one is, the second one for me, the story's better. The action isn't necessarily better, but I'm one of those ones that prefers a good story over good action. Well, I like action, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather have a solid story than back-to-back.
Oh, God, yeah.
The comics, I still need those. They're on the list of catch up along with Spawn, Lucifer, Sandman, and Firefly. There go the geek credentials again. Yeah, we're just gonna rip your card up and set it on fire at this point. I thought you were geekier than you were. I was grossly misinformed of of your contribution to the world of geekness.
I was misspelled PPE.
Yes. We were missold your GEEKs. I don't think we'll get a third film. Seems to be the same as Perlman's Hellboy. That keeps coming up and down though. Perlman's Hellboy. Like, yes, it is happening. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, that's like a pirate ship.
At this point, I have given up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I jokingly say that Hellboy 3 will come out the same day as Half-Life 3. That's what I joke. Speaking of that, did you see the trailer for the new Hellboy?
No.
I don't know what it is. It looks like a fan-made film. The guy playing Hellboy looks like a really good cosplay you'd see at Comic-Con. It does not look like movie budget type special effect. It does. It looks homemade. No offense to the guy playing Hellboy. I'm not even sure who the actor is. I've just watched the trailer and I was like, what? I was so like, I actually physically like, what's this I'm watching? Is this a fan-made film? Is this what? Tony, you'll get what I'm saying. Those fan-made trailers he was having a rant about. I honestly thought it was one of those. I thought it was someone like cosplaying and done like a fan made trailer for. But no, apparently this is an official. From things I've seen online, this is an official trailer. This is an official from a movie studio. I think it's an independent studio, so that might explain why the costumes look a little bit low budget. But I'm sorry, when I've honestly seen better cosplayers on TikTok doing Hellboy. No offense either, again, but oh my fucking god, no, bring back Perlman, finish that story, please. And same with Kick-Ass. Do a third one. Anyway.
Yes.
Great episode as always. See you again. Signing off, little cowboy hat wearing emoji. Thank you, Jimmy Lee. You are the top commenter of this week just because you were the last person to fucking comment in this week. So,
if anyone wants to jump in, you know what to do now.
Wait until Sunday afternoons because that's right before we record. So, if you want to try and get the top comment, you know, the last one we read out of the week, now you know what to do. I'm going to see like a little competition going on in the comments now.
You too can be headliner.
Yes. But then I suppose that's it for the shout outs, I guess.
Right. Well, in that case, we have to watch the end. Watch? No, we don't. Cut that bit. Anyway, yeah, we have to ask the eternal question. Handed down from father to son and mother to daughter and so on and so on. What have you been watching, mate?
Well, I've actually had a rather stacked week in my viewing schedule because one, insomnia's back for a visit.
Yeah.
I feel like my insomnia is like a fucking period at this point. It just shows up once a month. I'm awake, wide awake for like a week and then tired for the other 3 weeks of the fucking month. You know, it's just
simple. Just add Jack Daniels to the Pepsi.
There is that. But no, because I got to the start of season 8 of Supernatural, I was like, right, taking a short break from this because I've watched back to back now another 4 seasons because I got to season 4, took a slight break, watched from season 5 up to season 8, and now I'm taking another short break. And I think that's what I'm going to do, sort of take a short break and then go through 4 seasons because then that will get me to season 14 and then I can just round it up with the last one.
Yeah.
And so I have watched a little bit of Supernatural, but this week I got to finally sit and watch Chucky season 1. I watched the first episode and I am hooked already. It is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And Chucky, ironically, mass murdering serial killer voodoo possessed dolly, is a gay ally.
Cool.
He actually supports people like myself and people who are gay. So weirdly enough, I sat there in the first episode and I was actually rooting for the villains. I was rooting for Chucky. I'm like, that person needs to die. That person needs to die. That person definitely needs to die. Come on, Chucky. Get the first time he jumps out and actually makes a kill. I'm not saying what exactly happens, but the first time he pops out, actually makes his first on-screen kill. I was actually, go on, get him, Chucky, go on. I was proper fucking cheering. I was like, I am so invested in this already, and I'm only in episode 1. I haven't even watched episode 2 yet. But over the course of last night and today, I jumped on the Beverly Hills bandwagon and I started watching Beverly Hills Cop. And I watched the first one last night and I watched the second one this afternoon. And
they're still great, aren't they?
They are still great, but there's one thing that's bugging the fuck out of me. Now, this might be an edited for TV thing, right? My parents had recorded Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3 off of the TV on VHS.
Yeah.
And I sat and watched the first one last night, and it must be the first time I've actually sat and properly watched it. Like, it's not just been on in the background, I've actually give it my full attention. I'd say in at least 20 years, at least, right? And I'm sat watching the beginning bit. And I'm like, I don't remember any of this. Like, there's nothing sparking memories. It wasn't until about the half-hour mark that was like, I remember this bit, and I remember this, and I remember this, and then it started piecing together. But it wasn't until a good 20 minutes, half an hour in, that I started remembering bits. And I was like, I've got a feeling that some of the violence in it was potentially trimmed out when it was shown on TV, which is why I don't remember it. Like watching the second one, the bit where oh god, the guy who played Dick Jones.
Yeah.
When he gets shot in the beginning of the second one.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that at all. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that at all when I was.
Oh, I can remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it that though. So I'm thinking maybe I did watch like an edited for TV version.
You probably could have done, yeah.
Yeah, because I honestly don't. I remember seeing him get out and helping the woman go to Bridget Nielsen, helping him go to the car to help her, and the guy pull out the gun, and the gunshot go off. But then it cuts to the phone call with, in my memory, it cuts to the phone call of Axel, like when he's watching the news thing. Cut out the actual him getting shot and the blood splattering everywhere.
Yeah.
So I must have watched an edited for TV version because I honestly
probably did that. This is the problem.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I honestly, because I've not watched these films in so long, I've only got childhood memories to go on. And I've watched a lot of the films I watched were recorded from TV. Aliens.
Yeah.
Now, I was one of those people who got to watch the wonderful, wonderful bit in Die Hard 2, where he says, "Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon."
Yeah.
I got to see that version of Die Hard 2, and I'm like, who's Mr. Falcon? Or what was the one they sometimes change it to here in the UK? Instead of motherfucker, it was mother flipper or mother funker. But anyway, tangent over. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been watching this week.
Marvelous.
Can't think of anything else. Oh, boys.
Ugh.
To watch the boys, and I hate them. I hate the way. I'm not going to spoil it, but that ending
on sad ending.
X-Men 97 fucking flashback. They might as well have just ended it with "to be continued."
Yeah,
they might as well have done. But no, wonderful episode. No spoilers here because we're going to do a revisited at some point. It's going to try and get Jimmy Lee and Gaz back for that one because Gaz missed the first time we covered the boys, so we do want to get him back for that one.
We do. We love you, Gaz.
And again, I haven't messaged you, but I've had a lot going on, so it's a case of I have a checklist of things that I need to go through. Gaz, getting in touch. I will. I promise I will. Just give me time. I swear to God, I'm contacting you. Right. Guy, what have you been watching, my love?
Well, there is the aforementioned boys. There was also, of course, them Winchester boys in Supernatural. I'm powering my way through 13. We're nearly done with that. But we did take a little break. And I finished off Star Wars The Acolyte.
Ooh, did it end as good as it started?
Yes, it did, actually. I enjoyed it.
There's a terrible cliche with Disney at the minute where it starts strong and then ends bad.
No, I enjoyed it. A few people have been knocking it, but there's always going to be people knocking stuff. But I enjoyed it, so
you can't please all of the people all of the time.
And then I took another break from the Winchesters to watch a certain Cobra Kai.
I put that off because I wanted to wait until after this episode to watch it.
Fair enough.
Because I stacked with everything else, and I was like, no, Cobra Kai could be the last thing I watch at the end of the week. It's what I'm going to watch later on tonight before I go to
Mm.
bed. At least the first episode, anyway. So
Yeah, it is the first part of season 6.
the final season as well,
The
apparently.
final season, so first 5 episodes. There will be another 5 come November 15th.
Not too long. Not too long of a wait.
And then a final block in 2025, yet to be announced when.
Yeah.
But I will tell you without spoilers, the quality is still up there. It's still great.
Good. I just hope that this manages to wrap everything up nicely and we get some resolution to some of the things that are.
Yeah. Well, there's talk of another Karate Kid movie, but with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing rumors way back when that version of the Karate Kid came out, where people were saying, no, it's not a reboot; it's another film set in the same universe, like they did with the next Karate Kid, where it was the girl.
Yeah, Hilary Swank.
Yes, that was the one. Like, okay, maybe that could kind of work because they kind of made it clear that there's a lot of people out there who know different versions of Miyagi's style. So introducing Jackie Chan as a character into that universe is just someone else who knows a different version of the same martial arts.
Well,
okay,
I will say,
I could buy that. I'd watch that. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio going. Yeah, I
will say there is revelations about Mr. Miyagi in this latest block of episodes.
He's not done a dirty den as he's come back from the dead.
Hello, princess. No,
couldn't resist that one.
Yeah, no, he's not been caught being dirty on the internet either. Sorry, comes this that either. No, there are revelations about his past. No, are interesting.
Well, I'm gonna give that a watch then. Like I said, watch that later.
Make sure you do.
Anything else you've been watching then, Guy?
No, I did the Beverly Hills the other week.
Yeah, like I said to you back then when you mentioned you were doing it, I was like, I do need to do that. But once
I loved them.
Once I got through with the Winchester Boys for that season, then I watched an episode of Chucky. Then I was like, yeah, okay, right. I've got last night was free. This afternoon was free. I watched the first 2. I'm going to watch the third one and then Axel F possibly tomorrow.
Yeah.
Depends on what happens.
You'll enjoy it.
Depends what I've got to go out and do tomorrow, in all honesty. Just being fucking honest. But yeah.
That's what you'll do tonight.
Anyway, anything else you've been watching, Guy? Is that it?
There's nothing in my box. Anywho.
You wait till the cameras are off. Anyway, moving on with tonight's meaty chunk of the episode. Oh, fuck no. You
went there. I didn't go there. You went there.
I didn't even fucking think then. Right. Moving on with
the meat of the episode.
With the subject of tonight's episode, Guy, let's tell the audience what the fuck they're in for.
Right. We're going to talk about collecting.
Oh,
nice big fat geek chat.
Plastic.
Yes. And we're going to talk about the nature of collecting, what we collect, things we've got.
Why we collect them.
We're going to have a look at what's in Cali's box.
Yeah, this box down here, not this one down here. Get your minds out the gutter, you lot. But first, in my little box of treasures, my most recent acquisition, and this is kind of a shout out as well. The long-suffering wife, the better half of Jimmy Lee Clifford, Miss Ravenrose, my bestie friend. We were out shopping. We went into a charity shop, and she pointed out this little gem to me. Gremlins 2, the new batch. It is an original from 1992. It does still have the little puffball gremlin, as I call it, on the inside. And it was only the grand total of £5.
That's beautiful.
I could not pass that up. So that's kind of my latest acquisition thing because it's retro, it's collectible, and it was dirt cheap. So of course I had to add it to my collection. I was going to kind of get it up on the shelf, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, there's that.
Well, just make sure you don't get it wet.
Yeah, I'll feed it after midnight.
Exactly.
Little tangent here. This is how daft I can be sometimes. I was sat in Raven Rose's car, coming to go home. It was quite sunny yesterday. I put the gremlin in front of me to have a proper look at it. The sun shined on its face, and me and my immature brain went, bright light, bright light. So I moved it out. The sun went, sorry. And then I actually laughed at myself, and Raven Rose was like, why are you laughing? I was like, I explained the situation. So I was like, I actually apologized as well. That's the fucked up thing. Like, I said sorry to it. I need to go home. I think I've been out in public too long. I think the sun has got to me just a touch. I need to go home right now. But yeah, so that was one little thing. Do you want me to jump on with my next item?
Yes. What's in the box?
What's in the box? Right. Well, first, because as you can see behind me, I have a lot of Predators out on display. Some of them you can't see because the camera angle's not quite right, but favorites at the top, movie Predators at the bottom. Loose quotation because one of them is in the film for literally 30 seconds and then fucks off. It's the clan leader from AVP, the one with the big cape.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long they're in the film for.
Exactly.
We can form a lump of plastic into them.
But I do have some of the original card backs. Oh, and a little treat here as well. I'll talk about them in just a second. Pick those up. I dropped them. I forgot they were in the bag. That camera view. There we go. But I do have some of the card backs from my collection. Now, this one's an interesting one. This is the NECA Aliens Day Ripley that they released. And as you can see, if you were a kid in the 90s, this might look very familiar to you. This is from their Kenner tribute line, and this is the first one they did. Because with the fandom, a lot of fans have always said that April 26th is Aliens Day because LV-426.
Yeah.
The alien world that's in films. So it was never really official. It was just the things that fans like to do, like, oh yeah, on that date we watch the Alien film, we celebrate the franchise.
Well, it's Back to the Future Day and all that, isn't it?
Yeah. But NECA wanted to put their stamp on it, so they made this Ripley, and I do have her in the box because unfortunately she's one that goes in storage because she has a lot of issues, like myself. But brilliant figure, as you can see from the picture. It's a good recreation of that original toy. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of the original toy. I might flash up a comparison picture somewhere in the book. But up next, another one that is currently in storage. And again, gotta love the artwork on these because it recreates that old toy packaging. It is the Spike-tail Predator, which is this one down here.
Yep.
I have also got this one, I think he's Stalker Predator. I think in the original Kenner line, he was called the Night Stalker Predator because he glows in the dark, which is this one right up here. The cool thing I love about these card backs as well, I don't know how well the text will come across, but NECA actually made their own little stories up for each of the figures. So even if it was something that was originally packed in with the tie-in comic books that came with a lot of these, it's kind of an expanded version of that. Up next, we have the Hive Wars Predator. And again, I love this artwork. And you get the little bio and everything, and then you get others in the line. I didn't pick up this guy because he's incredibly rare to find. The last time I checked online, he was going for about £100. But this red motherfucker over here with the wobbly ankles is the Lava Planet Predator. He's that one there. Going through these rapid. This one is the Viper Predator. This one is the first NECA Predator that I ever bought.
No.
I picked him up on clearance. He was like £17. He's this one here at the end.
Yeah.
This one here is the Enforcer Predator. I do also have that one, but he's become very, very fragile. That's the one that NECA did the redo in that 2-pack that Gaz showed off in his episode.
Yeah.
Where we did all about collectibles on that. That's the original version of it. And that is the Elder Predator version 2. They had to do a version 2 because apparently version 1, something about the plastic they used, literally taking it out of the box made it break. Joints were so brittle and so stiff that the minute you tried to just pull it out of the plastic, like gently, it would just break and shatter. And yeah, it was rendered fucking useless. Here we go. Stalker Predator. There's the artwork for him, all glowing in the dark.
Yeah.
I think the idea with this Predator, from what it says on the bio, is where they evolved, where it's always nighttime, because of the sun not giving them the pigmentation to their skin became translucent, so they didn't need cloaking technology. But at the nighttime, they'd glow bright fucking green.
Oh.
Because of the green blood.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. This one here is most got into the box of figures. This one is Ghost Predator. He's actually a predator who hunts other predators because they killed his family. So he's a bit wonky. But again, one that I never picked up because I'm sorry, but the design just does not appeal to me. He's very plain, very plain. Then we have the AVP Predators. I'll go through all of these ones with one because all 3 cards, apart from the bio, are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It just shows little pictures of the artwork of each Predator on the card back. Scar is my favorite from this line because he's unmasked and he has actually got the scar molded in and painted as well.
Nice.
Tiny, it's a hard detail to see, but you get up close and you can just see it. It's like, oh, I like that. But yeah, again, the artwork on the cards is pretty good. You have to just rip it a bit to get the figure out, but main piece, wonderful. Now, this one is from the Enforcer Predator, and it actually features the comic book artwork. That's how he's looked in the comic book. And if you flip it around, that's the Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Which they did sell separately, and I kept trying to pick up, but I could never. It was one of those ones I could never find it for a good price. The Enforcer Predator, there was plenty of them out there, and they were fairly priced, even on the secondary market. But that Bad Blood, it was a very, very sought after figure. It's like there are some rare ones. We'll get into that in a little bit. And my Lava Planet one, there's the original artwork from the original toy.
Cool, man.
So again, one of their little Kenner tribute ones that they did. And then this is the final AVP one. I do have that one and this one on the shelf. He's down here. And this one, the alien head one, he's this one right here.
Cool, man.
And again, they've all got bios. And actually, there's the card for the alien head one because it's from the Alien versus Predator video game. So you get a closer look at his mask, which is sculpted to look like an alien head. And that's it for the card backs. I just wanted to show those off because a lot of time as a collector, this is just the throwaway stuff. This is just the guffins between you and your little bits of plastic paradise. So 9 times out of 10, this shit just gets thrown. But me, because I like the fact that they took the time to put the artwork on and put the bios on them, it's like classic G.I. Joes. You might remember this guy. Classic G.I. Joes back in the day. every figure had that cut out little ID card thing on the back of the box, and you were encouraged to cut them out and like keep them in like a folder as like a little dossier of agents kind of thing. That's kind of why I keep hold of these, because I did that back in the day with like Toxic Avenger figures and Ninja Turtle figures, where it was like cut the bio out and keep it to one side. I had a folder full of them.
Yeah.
For me, keeping these card backs is kind of part of collecting, because again, they took the time to make such beautiful artwork for it that recreates the stuff we had as kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just, if they take the time and effort to do that, I'm going to take the time and effort to store these. And I do keep as many boxes as I can. Right. Guy, what little collectibles do you have over on your side?
Well, let's start with something I started. Well, I've started collecting them. I've not exactly done much. But I started this by accident.
Pop vinyls, yes. I have Yoda.
There is a story.
And
there is a story. What was this supposed to be?
Barbecue Thor. That's what it says on the box.
Brofor. It's fat for.
Oh, I thought it said barbecue. Sorry, no glasses.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a Bluetooth speaker. This is what we got from Amazon.
And when I complained, they told me to keep it.
Yeah.
They sent me the speaker anyway.
Yeah, they sent the speaker anyway. So keep the thing. And I'm like,
it's
I like it. So,
why not?
I am having. Oh no, I had another one for Christmas from the Deer Adjudicator.
Oh, lovely. That
Ep18.
little gift ones like that. I wouldn't. I've said this before on the show. I would never buy a pop myself. I would never go, oh yeah, I'm going to buy this one for myself. But I will not turn them down as gifts. If someone buys me a pop, I will gladly, happily take it.
This is Boba from. This is Boba from the Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett. Thought it would be, yeah.
So yeah, the Adjudicator got me that for Christmas.
Oh, that's a cute little gift.
But
so I'm
having an issue. You'll get me out of the box or not?
I've got my Yoda pop out of the box, but that's because it's a Christmas one. He's wearing a little Christmas jacket. He's got a little Christmas hat on. It's a bobblehead. So I use that as a Christmas ornament. So that one stays out of its box. But my Sweet Tooth one, because it's a special edition, that has stayed in its box. So in my personal opinion as a collector, if it's just a standard edition and it's not a collector's edition, pop it out the box, pop it on a shelf.
Yeah. The problem is I do like the boxes as well.
Well, by all means, keep them. You just need cupboard space like I've got.
Yeah, true.
Most of my boxes are neatly Tetrised into a pattern underneath my bed.
Yeah, so far I have only 2, but I do want to keep going.
Yeah. I know what to get you for Christmas now then.
Yeah.
Transformer pops. Because that'll piss you off. It's a transformer that doesn't transform, but it's a pop. It's cute.
Well, speaking of Transformers. Now, there's going to be a bit of a theme going here.
Yeah.
You may recognise this old chap.
I think I do recognise that, yeah. I think I do recognise this Mr. Thundercracker.
That would be Mr. Thundercracker.
Yes, the Bayverse-ish Bayverse
adjacent.
From the Bumblebee movie. So it's kind of Bayverse. I classify the Bumblebee movie designs as Bayverse adjacent. To me, they're more G1, not accurate, but closer to what we would have wanted from the beginning. But not quite where we want them just yet. But that to me is the perfect gap between real world movie and cartoon.
Yeah. Well, he's a great figure. He's very flexible. Woohoo!
Oh
You
yeah,
got
the
kicked out of the
joint
box.
system on modern Transformers nowadays. I think there might be one or two in the box, but modern Transformers now with the multi-articulated joints, they're as posable as they've ever been. I mean,
Needless to say, he's out of the box.
of course, all of mine are. I mean,
Mm.
see my Transformer shelf over here, look.
Yeah.
Literally, the top two shelves are all Transformers. They're all out of their box. Although the Decepticon shelf right here, where my finger is, does need a rejig because the Decepticon throne is now up for grabs because Megatron's a twat.
Hey.
Joking. He's going to be front and center sitting on the damn thing with Starscream one side of him and Galvatron the other side of him.
Nice. But yeah, so there's him. Hey, Mr. Grumpy Bollocks. Now,
I will say the paint and whatnot on that for the face plate and the face sculpt and everything's really well detailed, given
really
the size of it.
now, those of you who watched
Our Christmas episode.
our Christmas episode will recognise this here chap here again.
Yes, the OG version. The
The OG version of Mr. Grumpy Bollocks.
Yes.
On the cracker again. I love this figure because it's very reminiscent of my original back when I was a child.
I will
And he's punching. He's got
say,
Megatron.
the little Megatron gun for me is just
That little Megatron.
too damn fucking cute. That is.
Bang.
How fucking cute that is. But that's one thing I will say about these reissues that they're doing. I'm kind of glad they're doing it because they're re-releasing the original toys that we had as kids, but with more cartoon and movie accurate paint schemes. Because the original Thundercracker toy was basically nearly black with like a blue shimmer.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the original Thundercracker toys, it was a really, really dark blue. But then you looked at the cartoon and he's that blue.
But I love this. I love Thundercracker though because he's just a grumpy old bollock.
Yeah.
He's a grumpy old man of the Decepticons.
He just does as he's told because he's like, oh yeah, whatever. Just
Yeah, okay. I just want to go back to Cybertron.
it's like whenever the plans fuck up, he's just sort of there in the background, like, oh god, here we go again.
I've been told you so.
He's
And
almost like the Rodney of Transformers.
yeah, but
They're grumbling in the background.
I will bring out this. I've brought him out before, but he's worth bringing out again. This little lad. My 1985 friend, my 1985 Rumble.
Yeah, your Rumble who's ready to crumble.
He is, bless him, he's about fucked. But he's original.
Right. The one thing that impresses me about that is the fact that one, you've still got one of his weapons with him.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the fact that it's still fairly shiny.
Yeah.
And third, most impressive, the fact it's not crumbled to dust, because the sort of plastics they used for the weapons back then, especially the metallic ones, were known to basically just disintegrate over time. The big one is gold, the golden plastics they used back then. It's now, a lot of toy collectors now say, be careful of gold plastic syndrome. Basically, if you buy any of the early 90s G2 Transformers, because they used a lot of it in the G2 Transformers.
Yeah, they did.
Be super, super careful because it's either going to be perfectly fine or the minute you move it, it's just going to go and it's just going to fall apart. So
I love this little dude. He's a punk.
he is.
He's an absolute little punk, but he's a punk.
First we crack the shell, then we crack the nut inside. I do love it. Classic.
If anyone does feel the need to argue, yes, this is Rumble. That's not Frenzy.
Rumble was the purple one. That was the way. That was the way it was for me in the first few G1 episodes. He was purple. He was called. Yeah. They called him Rumble by fucking name.
So fuck off.
Yeah, the other one was the other one.
Yeah, Frenzy.
Frenzy was the other one. And you had Ravage and Ratbat.
Mm-hmm. And Laserbeak. And Buzzer.
Ratbat weirdly ended up being a senator at some point somehow. Like, how did you go from cassette robot to fucking senator?
I do have another collection, but I've not got it down here at the minute.
Never mind.
I also collect basses. I collect bass guitars.
Well, anything is collectible. Anything is collectible. Now,
It is. It really is.
one thing I did want to quickly show off, spinning on from the art cards, because I did buy some of the NECA kind of redos.
Mm-hmm.
I got their redo of their Alien versus Predator 2-pack, and it comes with a reprint of the mini comic.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
The artwork again is classic at the time, Dark Horse, but it does actually feature the action figures in comic book form. Like all these characters that appear down here, you can get them as action figures. Like at the time, like when the original comic was done. But you've got that one. That was from a 2-pack where you got the big chap alien with the dome done all in black, and then you got a Predator in these brown and yellow colors. I will show him off in a minute. But I've also got the mini comic for Ripley.
Nice.
And the mini comic for the Gorilla Alien, although I did sadly sell the Gorilla Alien along with the rest of my Xenomorph collection, because when I first moved in here and started to notice things about myself, I would keep looking at that collection and I was like, that does not feel like mine anymore. It feels like it doesn't belong to me anymore, so I need to move it the fuck on. And one of my friends bought it off me, bought the job lot for like 250 quid. Bargain for them. I got rid of shit. So, but yeah, I will dive in with what some of my examples down in. And the first one, you're going to love this guy. NECA released a Predator accessory pack at one point, which had like, I think it was like blast effects, skulls, things like that. One of the things that came packed in it was this lovely little skinned rubber body.
I love that.
From the first scene in the first film where they find Jim Hopper.
Oh, it's Jim Hopper.
Hanging up, yeah. Yeah, they even... This is the best bit though, right? Because you don't see this in the film. He got a nice ass. He got a nice ass on him for a dead guy.
I was going to say, was he got a knob?
They sculpted the butt cheeks, like. But it's completely rubber. It's fairly kind of flexible. Yeah. The idea of this, and NECA, this was very early in their days of doing accessory packs, so they weren't 100% sure what they were doing. And it's just stuff they used in like their displays at Comic-Cons and conventions and things like that. But like they said, the general idea of this is like you'd get some fishing wire, wrap it around the feet, in your diorama or your display, you'd hang it up, and it would look like a body's been strung up by a predator. That was the general idea of it. And for a while, I did have a bit of string, because I used to have my predators on a bookcase where it was predators on top, then the second shelf, and then a lower shelf. So I put a bit of string, bit of sellotape, and then tape it on to the top shelf so it hung down onto the second shelf, and it looked like those predators on the second shelf had a trophy.
I love it.
There's that. Right now, I'm not sure which is which in this box because they're all wrapped up in bubble wrap. So we're going to find out together, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's an unboxing.
Up first, I think I know who this one is.
Ooh.
Yes, I do. This is the spiked-tailed predator. Now, this guy went into storage for the simple fact of this son of a bitch has never exactly been one to stand up.
Right.
Like, ever.
We do get that.
But here is the figure. And you'll see instantaneous why this guy doesn't even want to stand. He literally just fell apart on me.
There you go, folks.
So, well, now I have another figure to scrap for parts. Wow, I knew he was fragile. I did not know he was that fragile. Damn it. Well, now I got spare parts.
That's all right. Thundercracker's wings just fell off.
Yeah. It's not going well tonight, folks. Right. No. Moving on with the next figure, because that one just fell the fuck apart. Oh, it's the one I was just talking about, the one from the mini comic. This one is another Kenner redo. It is the standard Jungle Hunter base body, but repainted to look like that original kind of toy. Again, I got this one secondhand. It's very, very old. The cannon has come off, but you get the general gist. There he is with his big sci-fi space gun that the original figure came with for some reason.
Nice.
The spear's pretty cool, don't get me wrong. The spear's pretty cool. The blades
Looks like a Klingon bat left.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? When I first got this was broke. That was why I got it cheap. That was broken. So I managed to repair it though. But that, again, it's a lovely recreation of that original Kenner toy. The paint, I love the matte yellows and it's not all shiny. Like it makes it looks like it's from like a desert kind of area or something.
Hold on. Just bear with me 2 ticks. Keep talking to the last.
No worries. I will keep talking and digging through my box.
I bet you will.
Giggity. But right, let me just put this one away.
I'm putting a bit of light on the strong. I realised I'm very dark.
Oops. All right, let me just wrap this one back up and put him away, and I will dig out the next one. And it was one we were just talking about. Again, another Kenner redo. And it is the Ripley figure. Now, this one, like I said, it's very, very cool, but she's got her issues. Got her issues.
Don't we all?
One being the hand. The right hand, no matter how much I force it on with the ball joint, it never wants to stay on when it's holding the gun that came with it, which is meant to kind of replicate that original flamethrower, but it's just the smart gun without the rig.
Yeah.
But otherwise, very well done figure. Decent likeness to Sigourney Weaver. A lot of people like, it looks very toy, considering it's meant to be Sigourney Weaver. It's like, it's the toy of the toy. You missed the point. It's not meant to be a dead spot on likeness. It's meant to be, it's been fudged enough so that it's like, oh yeah, it's like the original toy where it was like, if you squint and look at it from far away, it's Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what the original toy was like. They did do several other versions of this Ripley in the original blue and the white top with blue and the flamethrower pulse rifle weapon. They then did, that was the first release, recolored this one. Sorry, this is a recolor of that one. But then they did an updated version of that one with a better head sculpt and released that in a 2-pack with Newt. And it was called the Ripley and Newt Escape 2-pack. But again, wonderful figure. I love the bright banana yellow boots. Even the original toy made little to no sense. But decent enough figure for what it is. Pop this one down here. Move on to the next one. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go with this one because this one I put into storage purely because I don't have the space at the moment for it. I ran out of space with my favorites, and it's like, oh, you're gonna have to go. Nah. But we talked about this during the expanded media, the Alien versus Predator comic.
We did, yes.
Now, the main Predator in that is actually recognized canonically by fans as Deshande, or meaning, I think it's broken tusk or cracked tusk, one of the two. They did a figure of it, but it wasn't of this one. But this is the action figure of that Predator from that comic book. And if you go back and look at the original artwork, it is accurate. It's got the alien head into the armor. It's got the clan symbol burnt into the alien's forehead. The gun is accurate to the comic book. And one of its coolest things is it has these 2 weapons, which are like burnt and got acid blood stains and holes in them and chunks taken out of them. But what you're supposed to do is you can either have them dual wielding or you can pop them together.
So like a halberd type of jobby.
Yeah. So then you can have them literally holding that middle piece with one hand and the gun with the other. And the joints and whatnot are fairly good on this. There's a few moments because of the big, bulky, heavy. I mean, the armor on the back, that huge, big block, it definitely hinders any articulation up here. The arms are good, the legs are good. It's a bloody good figure, one of my favorites, and it goes along with, again, one of my favorite Predators, but I could not have her on the shelf without this guy. And Guy, I actually gave you my spare one of these.
You did. This is a lovely figure.
Because it had, unfortunately, the first one that I bought, this happened a lot. There was, when these figures were coming out, NECA were actually in the middle of transitioning from one factory to another. They were moving production from China over to Vietnam. And these kind of figures got a little bit lost in the shuffle. So when they finally came out, there was a lot of problems. Big one being wrong joints in the wrong places. And mine basically ended up with an arm that was on backwards. So the elbow, instead of going this way, would only go that way. The upper arm and lower arm were the right way round. It was the elbow joint itself that had been put in backwards. And there was no way to pop it out and change it around, or at least not that I was capable of. So, but this one is one of my absolute favorites. Does come with an unmasked head. It's in my storage box. Oh, actually, no, she doesn't come with an unmasked head. She can be unmasked.
Yeah.
But here we go. We have, from, again, that same storyline, we have an action figure of Machiko Noguchi in her Predator armor with her big ass gun. Her wrist blades, oh my god, they are the cutest thing ever. They are just the tiniest, littlest, cutest little wrist blades I've ever seen. It's like my first wrist blades look. Just look.
Yeah.
Look how tiny. Look how tiny. But again, NECA, shout out for this one. I don't know if it's going to come across on my camera, but the texture work on the hair is absolutely amazing. It looks like actual like knotted and plaited dreadlocks in her hair.
The one you gave me is not down here, actually. That one's in my music room.
But she has the cool golden mask on. And that can actually be taken off. The inside of the mask does have sculpted detail as well, which is a lovely little touch. They don't have to do that because once you put it on and it's on the shelf, you're never seeing that.
No.
But I do love that attention to detail. Then we have this beautiful face sculpt. It's
that's
fairly comic accurate. It's got the scar on the forehead. And again, it's unpainted, but you can see it. And I love this figure. Absolutely love this figure. They have been a bit generous with the sculpting of the old cake region. They have been rather generous there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's guys designing action figures of females. So I mean, we gotta let them have a little bit of fun here and there. But yeah, that is one of my all-time favorite ones. But like I said, without the other one, and he takes up a lot of space, I don't. They kind of go hand in hand. I need the two together. So if he's not out, she's not out, and if she's not out, he's not out. Plain and simple. But yeah, that's my Predators and the reasons why they're in storing.
So I guess we need to talk about the nature of collecting.
I think we do, yeah.
Why do we do this?
I'm going to go with my personal view of collecting, and then you can go with yours. My personal view of collecting is it all depends on what I'm actually collecting. Now, with things like Predator, I grew up with the films, I grew up with the comics, I grew up with the original Kenner toy line. So it's always something that my mind has gravitated towards. Like whenever I used to see the McFarlane Predator action figures when I was in college, I would always want them, but they're not quite what I'm after, because I had McFarlane toys at that point, and I knew what I was getting into. You're buying a statue that can do this.
Yeah.
You know, that was always my biggest gripe with early McFarlane stuff. I've got one up here, Warrior Lilith. It's a repaint one. That's basically a statue that can move its arms at the shoulder and turn its head a little bit. But no matter what you do, it breaks up the sculpt and it looks crap. But I buy the Predator figures, and I bought as many as I have because, one, the action figures as a kid, I grew up with them. Something that I loved about them. I love the films, I love the figures, I love the comic books. So having more updated versions of them, and a lot of my top shelf, a lot of my favorite ones are actually Kenner redos. I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Kenner redos on my top shelf. That says it all, really. They're my favorites because I had the originals.
Yeah.
But for me, collecting on a generalization, if it sparks some sort of nostalgia within me, like the book, the cube, the Elvira figure, if I can have a little plastic representation of something that was a big thing for me growing up, I will gladly buy it. Same with the Transformers. You know, I love the car. I still love the franchise now. It's up and down, but I still love those characters. And it goes back to that thing we keep saying about remakes. It's like, it doesn't change the fact that the stuff that came before it is still out there. You know, Optimus Prime will always be Peter Cullen. He will always be that red flat-nosed truck.
Yeah.
You know, Rodimus, Hot Rod and Rodimus will always be that fiery red sports car with the big ass fucking spoiler. RC will always be the pink car with the soft voice. Springer will always be the I got better things to do tonight than die kind of guy, you know? And having those representations on my shelf. And I said this on a comment on one of Tony's posts a while ago. When it comes to buying retro toys specifically, not because I don't buy too much retro stuff nowadays. Some I do. I've got my original gargoyles. I've shown them off before. But when you buy those, yeah, there he goes with his. But Guy, you probably know. So like you said about with Thundercracker, like having that representation of that toy you had when you were a kid, and even more so when you can get the actual, like me with the gizmo. You know what I mean? Like having that thing that I had when I was a child, it just takes me back for a brief moment in my head to when time was simpler. I wasn't a grown-up. I didn't have responsibilities. I didn't have a child of my own. It was a more simpler, more innocent, more carefree time. And even if it's just I remember those days, kind of passing moment, I'd rather have that than just be constantly complaining.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my take on collecting and why I collect it. If it sparks a nostalgic tone with me, if it's a character I know, if it's something from a franchise that I love, yeah, I will get some kind of thing for it to go with it.
I mean, I'm not the biggest collector, as you've seen. But
figures, no, but guitars and your basses.
Yeah. For me, that's the thing. I mean, if I'm sort of deputizing for a band, I need to have different kind of basses for different kinds of tones. So, for example, you know, if I'm doing a dep with a soul band, then I need to take a Fender Precision bass with me, which I've got. So it's because it's that sound. That's the sound of soul.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
so there's that.
There's the aesthetics of them, though, isn't there? As well.
Oh my god, the aesthetics of them, yeah. Because it's like
that's what I mean.
I see this. Oh, I have to have that. Oh, I've got to get one of them.
You know what? Right, that is the exact same feeling I get when I see a new Transformer that I want. Because I don't buy every Transformer. I've made this very, very clear. I've got my characters that I want to fill out my collection with. Anything beyond that doesn't really bother me. But when I see it's just announced and I look at it and I'm like, oh, I want to get my hands on that and figure out how it works. And it's the tactile feeling of getting to one mode to the other. And I think it's the same kind of mentality. It's the same kind of dopamine hit, I suppose it would be like with you, like when you see, like you just said, when you see a bass and you pick it up and you feel the wood.
Yep.
No pun intended there, but you hit them strings for the first time. You hear those notes come out of that particular guitar for the first time. It's like, oh, that's that's the buzz I get transforming a transformer for the first time. As soon as I get it into that alternate mode, I'm like, oh, that looks beautiful. So I totally get the feeling.
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout, much to the adjudicator's chagrin. She's going, do you need another one? I'm like, yeah. You really need another one? I mean, at this point, I've got four basses. I've got a guitar as well.
See?
You know,
Collectables isn't just action figures, though. We will point that out.
Because if you look at someone like Joe Bonamassa, he's a blues rock guitar player. He's probably one of the best blues guitar players on the planet. He's probably one of the best guitar players on the planet, to be fair.
Yeah,
his collection is just astounding. It takes up several houses.
I bet. Fucking bet.
Because he'll buy every single. He's trying to sort of get every single 59 Gibson Les Paul.
Why not?
You know,
why not?
He's trying to get every single vintage Blackguard Fender Telecaster. He's one of these. He's like, say, Fender used to do custom colors back in the day in the 60s. He always buys vintage gear. So if they do a set of in a different custom color, he's got to not just buy the Stratocaster, he's got to buy the Strat, he's got to get the Telecaster, he's got to get the Jazz bass, the Precision bass, and the Jazz Master, and he has to have sets.
Thankfully I'm not a completionist like that, because there's some lines that I cannot cross due to financial situation.
Well, this is that thing. I mean, he's constantly out on tour.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you've got
money to fund his habit.
Do you know what? Right, I said this on my birthday when I went to the collector's shop up in Leicester when Raven Rose took me up there. Yeah, we do need to sort of road trip up there with both of us.
Yeah.
I said on the way out, I was like, you know what? If when I sell my books, I was joking, of course. I was like, when I sell my books, they make my millions. But if I ever get like more than 10 grand behind my back, I'm gonna go there. And some of the ones that I mentally were like, oh yes, I'm gonna pick them up.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, at that point they kind of become investments. And on that line, they had a G1 unboxed Fort Max. Complete and in pretty much mint condition. So I would probably buy that, and that would go in a glass case on its fucking own, because that would just accumulate value over time.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, like big purchases like that. And this is another kind of side of collecting. It's where do you draw the line on how much you want to spend on one item. Go on then, Guy. Hit us with how much you've spent on what's your most expensive bass?
The most expensive one I had was a Spectre NS. What was it? Can't remember the model number. That's very unlike me, but there you go. I have since moved on, but that cost me about 900 quid.
Yeah, in terms of expensive collectibles around here, we have the Necronomicon, which at time of purchase was a grand total of £136.99. But that is not my most expensive collectible. Technically, my most expensive collectible is Menasor on my Transformers shelf. I'm not going to get him down because he's at the back. He's a big, heavy motherfucker. Basically, between having to buy Motormaster / Menasor as a Commander class figure, that set me back £101. Weird price, I know. but that set me back £101. Then the other 4 individual Transformers that clip onto the arms and the legs were £25 each. So that's another £100. So that Transformer in total cost me the better part of 200 fucking quid. Now, you might say a little bit crazy for that, but bear in mind, there is the Titan class that you can buy, and they are big.
Yeah.
You can buy the 2 ships, the Autobot Ark and the Decepticon Nemesis. Now, I've seen displays with them set up, like looking like it's a space battle, and then I've seen them set up in robot modes fighting each other, and I'm like, they are so beautiful.
Yes, they are.
Where do I put them?
This is the thing.
Because that leads us on to our next problem with collecting, our next point about
Storage.
Space. This is why a lot of mine are in storage. As you can see, full, 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 full.
Yeah.
I have no more shelves. Well, I do in the corner, but you can't see that shelf from anywhere sitting in the front room, so it's kind of superfluous. I have a couple in the hallway, but it's the floor's so uneven out there that when you walk past it, they rattle. So if I put anything on there, anytime you walk past it, they're just going to thunk off the shelf. And I was like, into storage they go, and then they end up literally falling apart on you. So I'm not pissed off about that, because that one was one that I went, shall I sell it? Shall I keep it? Decision made. Decision fucking made.
Yeah.
But yeah, storage is an ever-growing issue, and that, for me, as an action figure collector, and I'm sure other collectors of other items like books, films, comic books, you all have, or all collectors eventually run into the same issue of, where do I put this new thing I want to add to my collection?
Yeah.
Because, like I just said, with the Autobot Titan classes, the Fort Max, the Ark, the Unicron from HasLab that they did.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to buy those. Even though they are like 200-300 quid, and that Unicron is like over £1,000. I wouldn't have anywhere to put them currently. No. So they are definite no for right now. You know, and that's what I was saying earlier. You, as a collector, you have to know where to draw the line of, have I got the money for it? Have I got the space for it? Is it just going to literally be more trouble than it's worth to get it to me in the first place?
This is the thing. I mean, if you collect books, you can get bookshelves. If you collect figures, it becomes a bit more of a thing. If you collect instruments, again, that takes up a lot of space.
Exactly. So
my music room is actually supposed to be a music room and an office for the adjudicator.
I'm in my office. It's also my front room.
Yeah, I'm now getting a look.
Oh.
Because it's mostly a music room.
But yeah, that is kind of the basics of collecting, really. I mean,
we are addicts, folks.
Yeah, I mean, we are addicted to these little representations, and the weird thing is if you're not a collector of any kind, right, collecting things like action figures might seem a bit childish, but it's not really. A wonderful guy here on YouTube by the name of MGO always says this little sign-off thing, and it's one thing that kind of made me go, you know what, it is okay for me to be an adult collector. At the end of all of his episodes, he says this line, you don't stop playing because you grow old because you stop playing. Be a geek, proud. And that's very true. I mean, I love all these kind of things. I've got Elvira, Spawn, She-Spawn, Duke, Robocop, and Kick-Ass and Hit Girl over here. It doesn't have to be genre specific. It doesn't have to be film specific. Just buy what you love. If you love something, whether it's geeky, nerdy, sci-fi, horror, doesn't matter. Be proud of this kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Hold on to those little memories of childhood, because if you don't, you'll end up one of those grumpy, boring old bastards working in fucking bank, going down the pub on a Friday night, sitting with his mates complaining about where everything went wrong for them. Where it went wrong for you, mate, is you wanted to become an investment banker rather than go out, have a good fucking time, and celebrate the things you love. You decided to put them in a box and run away and grow up. If collecting makes me a fucking grown up fucking, I don't know where I was going with that. I lost all thought and tangent there. It's rolling on. We've actually recorded a hell of a lot longer than we were supposed to.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, hour will be our cut off tonight. You get us going about collectibles though. I mean, that's kind of what this channel was originally born on, was the idea of reviewing collectibles. And then it evolved, and now we do a podcast. And I thought, we'll bring the two together. We're going to do a podcast talking about some of the collectibles I have, some of the ones in storage. If any viewers out there would like to see any more of the stuff that I have on my shelves, both shelves up close in an episode, drop it in the comments. I'll take note of it. And if we do another episode like this, I will gladly show off some more of my actual out on display collection.
And don't forget Miss Violet's Collectables.
And yes, I Miss Violet's Collectables, which is a little bit on hiatus at the moment, just because things have been going on in the background, as specified before last week. Can't talk too much about it. But yeah.
You know, Miss Violet's recording her solo album. So.
Yes, yeah, she's gone solo for a little bit. It's the sounds of suffering. Apparently, it's like it sounds like razors through flesh. Apparently.
Oh, there you go.
At least that's what she told me on the phone, and then I heard Hitler scream. So I think it was Hitler.
Yeah, it's still probably better than that third Nine Inch Nails album, but there you go. Anywho,
and his Water Torch is better than that fucking album.
Yeah. Right, we will sign off, I think.
Yes.
So, folks, as you trudge down life's lonely highway, if you go past the toy shop, go take a look. You might actually like it.
Yeah. We have such delights to show you.
We do.
Right.
Folks.
Good night, everybody.
From myself.
Episode.
Take care. We'll see you down the road.